Cocktail. This is episode 12, and today's theme is confidence. I brought along with me Miss Meg Williams of Rochester, New York, and also she is on the Nashville scene these days. And I got Soccer Sam himself, Sam Fantuzzo, a Rochester staple. He can't get away from that face, and you don't want to, and you'll see why. Welcome to Afternoon Cocktail.
Running from her troubles and she's leaving all her past, 'cause she knows she got no time for that. Working on her problems for every other day, 'cause she knows she got some other things to say. She knows what she wants, yeah, she'll give it all she got. And if there's something more, she'll never stop. She's a dream chaser, ground shaker, doing what she wants, 'cause it's never gonna make her slow down. Give it up, living a life just the way she wants it. It's hard when you're with her not to catch some of that fever. And I know what she's doing. She put a little bit of the devil in, yeah. A little bit of the devil in, yeah. A little bit of the devil in, yeah. Don't try and tell her that there's something she can't do. That's exactly what she gonna go do. You'll start a fire deep down in a woman's soul if you try and make her feel like she was born. She knows what she wants, so she'll give it all she got. And if there's something more, she'll never stop. She's a dream chaser, ground shaker, doing what she wants, 'cause it's never gonna make her slow down. Give it up, living a life just the way she wants it. It's hard when you're with her not to catch some of that fever. And I know what she's doing. She put a little bit of the devil in, yeah. A little bit of the devil in, yeah. A little bit of the devil in, yeah. She's a dream chaser, ground shaker, doing what she wants, 'cause it's never gonna make her slow down. Give it up, living a life just the way she wants it. It's hard when you're with her not to catch some of that fever. And I know she's doing it. She put a little bit of the devil in, yeah. A little bit of the devil in, yeah. A little bit of the devil in, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Oh, now I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Meg, awesome to hear
Thank
you
you.
and to see you especially. How have you been?
Been good.
Seems pretty good, huh? I'm awesome.
Good.
So it seems like Nashville's treated you very well. So how long have you been in Nashville now?
It's gonna be 4 years in July.
My gosh, 4 years
know.
goes so fast. I wasn't sure if it was 5 years because I kind of judge it by when I had Remy. I knew it was close to that. But so in 4 years, you've accomplished a whole lot. I mean, you are performing out all the time. The reason why I thought of you for today's episode was because a few days back, was it Sunday or Saturday that you did your live stream?
Sunday.
Sunday, yep. So I was actually working on stuff for this show, for Monday's show,
Uh-huh.
and I turned on Facebook and I saw that you were performing. I'm like, oh, great, I could catch Meg. And the one thing I noticed that like totally stood out to me the whole time was your confidence. And I love seeing that about you because I mean, we've known each other probably 9 years now, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So seeing, commanding a performance via live stream is definitely different than commanding a performance live and in person. But you have so much energy, even so, and just seeing, you seem so much more comfortable in your skin, and it's awesome musically, professionally. So congratulations. And I wanted to ask you, I mean, how do you feel like living in Nashville in the past 4 years has impacted your confidence and your stage presence and all those things that come along with your experience?
I mean, just being here, you're surrounded by just so many incredible performers and musicians and songwriters just every single day. So, I've just gotten to see so much of it and just, getting out there and performing pretty much every single day. And I've just learned so much. Um, and you really have to come in with some confidence to just because there's just so many people doing the same thing here. And yeah, just constantly doing it and seeing what other people do, and what I get from other performances, like, oh, I really liked what they did, maybe I'll try that in my set. And just constantly learning and being open to new ideas and just doing it over and over again. So yeah, I've just learned so much here.
You know what it is? It's that creative atmosphere, like
Mhm.
I always, no matter where you are, if you surround yourself with people that are inspiring to you, you're surrounded by inspiration, you're surrounded by music, and that's a part of your life all the time now, right? So
Yeah.
now you're doing music full time.
Hmm.
That's when it becomes your everything. I mean, you want to be around just those people, and that's what's going to make you level up and become better at everything that you're doing. And it really, really shows. And I think I bet anybody that knows you has known you. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's proud of you. So, one of the things I wanted to bring up is because I know you and I kind of briefly touched on this, but I've always had this love affair with Memphis, and I see that you've been spending a lot of time in Memphis, Tennessee. So, Memphis is about 3 hours from Nashville,
Yes.
and I mean, your sound is more blues related. So, I mean, how does your sound translate differently in your experiences performing there than it does in Nashville? Or I mean, what are the contrasts and what do you like about both?
Yeah. So I don't know. I try to stay very true to what my music is and what my sound is, no matter where I'm playing. Whether it's a venue or a restaurant or a bar or even a writer's round, like, my my sound, it's just kind of, it's what I do, it's how I sound. And so the stuff that I play with my band here in Nashville, I bring it to Memphis, I bring it to Texas, I bring it back to New York. So I just try to hold true, to what my sound and my music is, no matter where I'm playing. But um, yeah, one thing that I do love about being here in Nashville is I am so close to so many other cities like Memphis and Knoxville. And um, so yeah, only about 3 hours away. So I get down there every couple of months or so. And um, one of my favorite times of the year is going down there for the International Blues Challenge Week in Memphis, which we talked a
Mhm.
little bit about earlier. It's right on Beale Street there, and that's always such a inspiring blues filled week.
I mean, let's talk about that because I mean that's really what has changed the course of your career, right? So competing in the International Blues Challenge kind of opened up some doors for you recently. You signed with Nola Blue,
Yep,
right? Am
Noel
I
Blue
saying that
Record.
wrong?
Yeah,
Nola
so
Blue
that was
Records.
yeah, last year. And we just really uh, made that great connection. And then I went on a year ago. I released my full length album with them that I recorded in Muscle Shoals. And yeah, just that experience of being at the International Blues Challenge. It's so many blues artists from all over the world. And just making those connections and with them, with Nola Blue, with the blues community, with the women in blues, that was a really big one as well. And then this year I went on to go back and I was the house band director again for the Women in Blues showcase and house band guitarist. So yeah, just
I saw that.
really,
So how many pieces were you leading? Like how many people were
um,
playing along with you? Like,
it really just varied,
I mean,
whatever the person needed. But at
yeah.
maximum, we had keys, bass, guitar, and drums was kind of the full
Okay.
section. Hmm.
So it wasn't like a whole like gigantic ensemble, because I think that's what I imagined in my head.
No,
Okay.
no,
All right.
not a full orchestra. That'd be
Of
very
guitarists. I think
yeah,
like that's initially like what I was like
yes.
thinking. I'm like, that's interesting. So like what did your position actually entail you doing? Like just assisting people and
If
correcting and
so, basically, if an artist who was performing at the showcase needed a backing band, I would help
okay.
put that together. Basically, if they needed somebody to back them in their music, or if they just needed a guitar or just needed drums, so just kind of
How fun.
yeah, it was super fun. So it's a very fun week and a lot of good people down there, and so yeah.
So working with tell us more about like working with Nola Blue Note. Like how has that I mean, do you have anything up and coming like for release that you're working on? I know things are on a hold, but do you have any touring plans or what can we expect coming from you out of working with them?
Yeah, so over the past year, I've really been touring on the album that I released a year ago with them, and just well, everything's so up in the air right now, as you know. But uh, I did have some tours set up for this month. Those are hopefully getting pushed to the fall. As of right now, tentatively September, August, October, but we're gonna keep evaluating as time gets closer. So, yeah, just more touring in the future, and I've written a lot of new songs. So at some point in time, I'll I don't really know when at this point, but there will be I will have new music out into the world in the future. But yeah,
Awesome. Well,
yeah,
in the meantime, I mean, there's plenty of opportunity to check out your current single. Well, the current singles that were already released that might be
mhm,
new to some people.
absolutely.
Um, what's the song that you're? So we're gonna bring Meg back later in the program. She's gonna sing us, close us out with one of her original songs. What's inspiring you these days?
Um, just I mean, every song that I write, it's got to be to some extent it's connected to something that I'm feeling or I'm going through. I have to like emotionally connect with my songs, as I'm sure you do too as a songwriter, just to really feel them. So just everything from confidence and independence and love or lack thereof, or just whatever's kind of happening in my life, I guess.
I
Whatever.
gotcha.
Hmm.
Well, Meg, I mean, keep soaring away. You're doing so great. I'm so proud of you. And tell the people I live in Memphis and Nashville, like, give them a
Yeah.
nice big hug and kiss for me if you see them, when you see them next.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in the meantime, you hang tight. I can't wait to hear your next song. And then we're going to bring my friend, Soccer Sam. So, Soccer Sam, hello. How are you? Oh, hold on. Sam, you there?
I'm here, Amanda.
Hey. Well, so you're coming to us. You're a Rochester staple. I mean, there's no avoiding your face and your charisma in this town. I mean, right now you're not even in Rochester, right?
I came here for a soccer game. I came to Florida for a soccer game a month ago, and then everything took off. So my staff's working from home. So I'm working from home, and we're getting a lot done. But I'm working from Florida right now.
My goodness, is your phone like blowing up constantly? I would only imagine
Long,
with all your endeavors.
It's been crazy. I mean, this whole situation has been crazy, but our stores are working through it. And I feel bad for a lot of people that aren't working, obviously, the bartenders and the servers and the musicians that are doing their thing in these great restaurants. But we're getting through it right now.
Awesome. Well, I mean, that's a good problem to have for sure. So, I mean, Sam, tell us about you. I mean, where you have your hands in so many different business ventures. You're such a smart entrepreneur. I mean, how did you get started in your business altogether? I mean, I know it started with Salvatore's. How could you tell me a little bit about your background?
Yeah, Salvatore's, started off as a high school project when I was 17, Eastridge High School, opened our first store. As young kids grew up, they wanted to open their own stores, so we grew into 30 locations. One of those locations obviously is Donuts Delight. We sell donuts there. One of them is a garage door. It's a bar, the Bay Road Pub, the saloon in Spencerport. But they're all really just one brand, which is Salvatore's. But they all have their own little unique feel about it. And that's really my main business gig. My sports gig is soccer. I love soccer. I'm involved with an indoor team, a couple outdoor teams, including a women's team that I'm proud of, and that's kind of my passion. So I try to incorporate it all and get through the day. But pizza is my job, and I love it, and soccer is my passion.
I love that you balance your life accordingly. You know what I read about you that I just loved, and it made sense to me. That you actually was it semi-professionally did wrestling at one point in your life?
What you don't know about me, and it's nowhere written, I don't think ever, but I was in a band when I was a kid, a garage band with Phil Nero, who used to be
Whoa.
Phil Sampaniero, and now he's Phil Nero. But we started off in a band back in the day. We would do like, parties and high school parties and stuff like that. And I was a singer, believe it or not. But later on in life, a good friend of mine became a professional wrestler, turned me on to it, and I became a professional wrestler. I was Dr. Love. I had my nurse valet, which was my wife, Linda. She was Nurse Nice Lips, and we traveled and did the whole wrestling thing for a while. It was fun.
Does she still call you Dr. Love and you still call her Nurse Nice Lips?
Sometimes,
Like your little cat names. That's great. How long did you actually do that for?
I did it for 4 years, and then my wife tells me we're expecting our first child. So I thought it was time I had to grow up and really started focusing on business. Because, back then wrestling, I was wrestling right before it took off. When I retired in 83, it's right before the Hulk Hogan thing, and it really exploded. But back then, you were lucky if you got $100 a match, and you had to chase the promoter to get paid. So it was more of just, something to do that I enjoyed. But I did it for 3 or 4 years. I had fun with it. And then I just 100% focused on Salvatore's. And now I'm really happy. We have a bunch of stores, a lot of young guys that work really, really hard, support their families, support a lot of employees. And I'm really proud of what we've created over the last 42, almost 43 years.
Well, you have a lot to be proud of. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. I mean, Salvatore is everywhere. If you come to Rochester, it's like being down south and you see Waffle Houses everywhere. Like Salvatore's is everywhere, like on most corners of like main streets. But yeah, the pizza's excellent. But I mean, so how did you fall into Donuts Delight? How did that come about?
I used to drive by the building all the time, and it was for sale for years. And I kept on calling the realtor, throwing him low ball offers. And then finally, after I got my tax bill at home, I figured the owner must have got his tax bill. So I tried again, and this time they went for it. And at first, it was going to be a Salvatore's. And then slowly, when the city said we couldn't convert the Donuts Delight signs, I figured, okay, it'll be Salvatore's at the Donuts Delight building. And then I thought, why not put donuts in there? Reached out to the old owner, gave us all the recipes. His whole family got involved, and the rest is history. It's Nick, who operates the store now, is the owner operator. We sell as many donuts as we do pizza every day, and it's really our highest volume location because of the two brands together. And we hope to kind of incorporate those two brands in more locations.
Sure. So the Fauci donut got quite some press, right? So it even looked like somebody tried to like steal your idea, like in another state. But I mean, the idea of putting Dr. Fauci on a donut, I mean, whose idea was that? Was that Nick's or something like
Well,
you all came up with?
What happened is Nick called me up like on a Monday when everything got shut down. A lot of his business was wholesale, including colleges and high schools, and the dining room got shut down, and breakfast was a big part of his business. So I threw some ideas at him, and one of them was the Dr. Fauci donut, the doc donut we call it. And I said, look, put the doc on. He's like, and he's like, at first he was like, what are you nuts? We're gonna put a picture of a doc. Who cares about this doc? I'm like, dude, he's on TV every day. Millions of people are watching. No one's working. You never know. We never ever imagined that it would go international. Every Ashley Maria King, who runs our marketing department, she's got interviews from every country pretty much reached out to us. Nick's been on every national channel, Fox, CNN. Everyone's covered him. ABC. Jimmy Kimmel carried the donut, did a whole story on it. So it
So
really
crazy.
it helped save a lot of jobs. And since then, we've introduced other donuts that Nick came up with and his staff came up with, and those have really kept the momentum going in a really down time with no wholesale, no breakfast. That location is able to keep 51 people working. So it's kind of cool.
Isn't it so funny how the weirdest things just grab people's attention? Like,
Like,
I had Cindy Zakaria on. She's a comedian a few weeks, well, maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I'm losing track of what day it is. But she works at Rhinos, and she was actually the one responsible for the pickled pizza that like
yes.
blew up. It went viral. And I
Yeah.
was like, like what a thing to like. We work our hardest in our lives to be noticed for something, other than a pickled pizza or like a Fauci donut. But this is what we find ourselves recognized for. I mean, Donuts Delight has some history behind it, right? The actual location. So like you were saying like the city wouldn't approve you taking off the actual signage because it's historical value, or what's
Yeah,
the reasoning?
sign permits change, ordinance change. So if we took down those giant Donuts of Light signs and put up a Salvatore sign, we couldn't have the same size signs. So I decided just to leave the old signs. We had them refurbished, and it was originally going to be the Donuts of Light building. It was going to be Salvatore's at the Donuts of Light building, which still is. But yeah, I mean, Donuts of Light is John Corgioso, Ray Loray. They owned the Salvatores in that market, and I went to him and said, "Look, this is in the middle of both of you. Come on in with me on this, and let's make this work." And then the Malley family, the original founders since 1958, they came aboard and helped us do the whole donut thing. And then Nick, who was one of our managers at Main Street, said, "Hey, I want to be part of this." He came in, and now he's the owner operator. He owns it by himself. He works it every day, works long nights, long mornings to make donuts, and it's been a success.
Well, work hard and perseverance, and I mean, you guys always have the right recipe for you have the right recipe for life. It seems like to me. Like I look at you as somebody that seems pretty confident. I think when we talk about confidence, which is today's theme, right? I think sometimes that word comes off as being a little bit more aggressive than what it actually stands for. Confidence comes with experience. It comes with diligence and hard work, and it helps us level up to become the next best version of ourselves, and leveling up in our businesses, our careers, so on and so forth. I mean, do you consider yourself a confident person? And if so, how has that confidence translated over time?
Man, I was afraid of that question. I am very confident in business, very, very confident in business. I treat business like a game, like a sport. I'm a soccer guy. Every day we got to win the big game. We got to win the Super Bowl. We got to win the World Cup. That's how I treat business. But in real life, I have social phobia. I struggle to go to events and parties, and you've seen me out at different places, including Bella Vita. I walk in, I head down or facing the phone, go to my table. So there's a lack of maybe confidence on that side of it, but I'm confident in other ways. And I think there's all different forms of confidence. And business wise, I'm extremely confident. Uh, in social gatherings, I struggle.
So that's so interesting to me, because I feel a sense of, I mean, from knowing you and seeing you outside of your business, seeing you as a human, enjoying your wife and your time, your free time, I kind of get that from you. Like I could see where you're not as ostentatious as you're. I mean, your persona is very larger than life. You know, you're always wearing bright colors, and you know, you got your funky sayings, and you know that's what you're known for. So to see you a little bit more of a subdued, real Sam is interesting. But yeah, I think a lot of people, and I mean, whether your art is business or it's music, or you know, everybody has a little bit of a touch of where they're a little bit more confident in other places in their life. But very interesting. I mean, who inspired you to be the businessman that you are?
I think I just got lucky when I was like 12 years old. My dad had a pretty major setback in our life. He had a big heart attack, and my uncle had just opened a little grocery store, and I decided I had to go work to help the family. So I went to work at this little meat market, and Uncle Fred Mion, who lives in Arizona now, he was probably the best teacher ever. He was a perfectionist, detail oriented, you know, clean freak. I mean, everything you could think of that makes businesses work today, that's who he was. And that's what he instilled in me at the age of 12. And you know, by the time I was 17, I was ready to, like, you know, take over my own business. And right across the street, there was a place for rent, and that's where I opened up the first Salvatore's. And he was there, you know, coming over, giving me advice and guiding me. And I think him and the old school butchers that worked back there, and their life stories and their inspiration was really the business drive in me at a young age. And you know, and that's, I think it just stuck in my head somewhere back there, and that's who I am. And then I think I figured out a way, I think in the 80s during the wrestling era and then a little soccer era, to kind of incorporate sports and business. And I just treat every day like it's a game.
Yeah, interesting. I always feel like I treat my life like a real life obstacle course sometimes between, you know, juggling my son and doing all, you know, the other various things. But if you make life if you make life more of a game, I mean, it has all the components of a game, right? You got your challenges. You could possibly win or fail at certain things, right? So it kind of coincides in a lot of ways. But yeah, if it's a lot more enjoyable to live, I think, that way. But Sam, thank you so much. I hope you get out of Florida sometime soon and come back home. We miss you here. And I hope I'll be seeing you at La Bella Vita sooner than very far later.
I hope so
Thanks so
too.
much for your time.
Thanks for having me. And
Tell
I hope
Linda I say hi.
thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you. And Miss McWilliams, are you ready to rock us out with one last one?
I am.
What do we got?
This is one I wrote with a friend of mine, Scott Barrier. It's called Right Man, Wrong Time. Don't say I was lonely. Yeah, say I was bored. Yeah, say I needed something. I needed something more. You were unexpected chemistry. The last thing I thought I'd need. But man, I can't see that you're so good to me. I met the right man at the wrong time. Yeah, any other day I wanna bang yours, you would've been mine. I met the right man at the wrong time. Oh, said it's true, I don't know what to do, 'cause I met the right man at the wrong time. I wanna give you my best, don't wanna give you anything less. Don't waste your time, heartbreak torn down this. Yeah, it's a situation I trust I don't wanna do. It's not like you did anything wrong to me. I'm just not giving what you are deserving. I met the right man in the wrong time. Yeah, any other day I won't be bang yours for being mine. I met the right man in the wrong time. Oh, sad but it's true, I don't know what to do, 'cause I met the right man. Yeah, I met the right man. I met the right man in the wrong time. Wrong time. Yeah.
Miss Meg Williams, thank you so much for performing on our show. Can you tell our audience where they could find your music and your previous singles?
Yeah, so if you go to megwilliamsmusic.com, that has all my merch and music and Spotify links and Amazon Music, and also a link that will take you over to Nola Blues website where you can also order the album online. Yeah, and all my social media links are on there too, megwilliamsmusic.com.
Well, fantastic, Meg Williams. Thank you so much. And Sam Fantuzzo, thank you. It was such a pleasure to have you here today. And I want to leave everybody off with just, a little positive words to get your day going. Today's theme was confidence, and just talking about confidence in general, we touched upon the fact that, sometimes it takes on a negative connotation, but confidence comes along with experience. It's everything that we do. If you take that risk, that one jump in life, here's a time. I'll tell you what, this show right here is a confidence builder for me. There are all things. We have our strengths, we have our weaknesses. For me, this show has helped me, and the persistency of doing something over and over again. This has helped me with speaking to people in general. Sam had talked about being confident in certain areas and not as confident in others. For me, public speaking is not my my best suit to wear. As opposed to performing, I'll sing for anybody. That's my comfort zone. So, taking your experiences, learning from them, growing, and allowing those opportunities that you envision something in life that you might think, oh, I don't know if I could ever do that. Self-doubt starts to sink in, and it really could take over your subconscious if you allow it to. Believe in yourself. Believe that you could do anything you really put your mind to. And with a little sprinkle of work, diligence, and motivation, anything is possible. So get yourselves there. And I wish you all a very beautiful afternoon. Big thank you to Boyer Productions for making everything always look and sound so great. And I look forward to seeing you guys again this Wednesday. Have a great day.